Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of We Love Pets. We have a great guest here today, Craig Froley from Lumasooth, and I'm really excited about this. I saw this recently over at a pet expo that I was attending, and you and I got to talking, and I mean, there was just so many different things that we were talking about. I said, we've got to get you on the show. I came back to producer Derek. I said, let's do this, and let's do this quick. I know we typically start off with, how'd you get into the pet industry?
You know, that's an interesting thing. I've been in the pet industry now with a product for 2 weeks, but for a process about 2 years. I've always been in the technology end of the kind of the medical world. You know, I was involved in the first, I guess the second technically MRI that was ever in Orange County. Helped getting that in, and that grew into a couple of partners and I getting together. We owned some diagnostic centers and finally sold that business off. And I thought, where do we go from here? That led to the LASIK business, as we all know it today, which is technically photorefractive keratectomy. It's fixing your eyes.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, well, trust me, it took me a while to get to that point. So that we ended up with one of these new lasers that was yet to be FDA approved, with a couple of docs here in the Southern California area and locating it in Tijuana. And we did two things. We did about 1,800 American eyes down there with docs from up here. And we also did courses to teach these guys about the technology. And we literally would go to the slaughterhouse and we'd buy pig's eyes, which are just about as close to human eyes as you can possibly get. And we would go down to a hotel in San Diego, do a 3 or 4 hour didactic session with the docs, talking science and technology and all the stuff that I guess kind of sit there and go, okay, fine. And then we'd take them down to Dr. Chayette's office in Tijuana, and they would practice on the pig's eyes doing these laser treatments. And so we did that for a couple of years. And then that business came to a screeching halt when it got approved. In fact, I was one of those guys kind of in the corner quietly praying that it didn't get approved for a couple more years, because we were making a ton of money and training docs all over the place. They were coming for these sessions. So that went its way. And one of the guys that I was involved with in that business said, you know what, there's a new technology called low-level light therapy. And it was introduced to me as a technique for stopping hair loss and promoting hair regrowth. And it's done with almost exactly the same technology as in the Lumasooth. And it literally works. It's not a magic bullet. You know, it's not like the Chia Pet where you can rub water and green stuff on it and the next day it grows. But it's a successful technology, and it kept me interested in this light therapy thing. And so that led to, well, you know, it's been used for wound healing and all sorts of skin-related issues and deep muscle and joint treatments for humans for some time. And it's been cleared by the FDA for God knows how long. So I'm thinking, well, you know, I've got a dog. I've had another dog before that was with us for 18 years that finally started to see all of the symptoms of, you know, the hips going out. And I'm thinking, well, why shouldn't this technology be made available to pet owners for their pets? And so a couple years ago, we started contemplating that and fooled around with how we could do it, because you want to build something that you can make a profit on, but you also want to make it so that the consumer can buy it and use it inexpensively. Hence Lumasooth. And it took a while, but we finally got it put together, and we just introduced it when we met a couple weeks ago at the show and had a great response. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that caught my eyes. As you've mentioned, there are other technologies out there that are available, but they're at such a high level. It's got to be done by a licensed veterinarian or someone with a lot of training, and it's also very expensive. That was one of the things that really caught my eye about what you're offering. And I know, and so do a lot of our viewers, I've got Zoe, who is, you know, facing those senior years and having those issues. And I've tried VOM, and I've tried laser therapy, and I've tried, you know, manipulations and whatnot. This is something that I'm excited about because I can do it, and I think it's also something that's going to make her more comfortable. What's been the experience that you've had, and then what's the feedback you're getting from pet parents?
Well, the feedback has been good. I mean, it's a new concept to a lot of people. Now, we've talked to several people at the show who said, "Oh, my dog is having treatments at the vet right now," and they're very good. And as you said, it's a very expensive equipment. These folks have overheads, they have offices to run, they buy expensive equipment, and then they have to charge accordingly for the use of that. So these individual treatments can range from $65 or $70 on the low end to as much as a couple $100. And it gets to be an issue of, well, how much can I afford to continue to do this in a lot of cases? And in addition to that, with light therapy, it's routine. It needs to be done regularly, not just once a week or two. And granted, the lasers that they use, they can tune the frequencies, they can tune the power output, but you have to know what you're doing. And if you overtreat, you can damage the cells very easily, which is why you can't do this in a home environment.
Right.
But with LED light, unlike laser light, it's diffuse. The cells absorb what they need and kind of like stop. Kind of like when you take vitamin C and you take 1,000 milligrams, your body only wants 300, it just spits off the rest. Same thing with the laser light. So it's a very nice adjunct to going to your vet maybe once every couple of weeks or once a month. Or if you don't have a vet handy or that bill gets to be too expensive, you can do this every day for 15 minutes or 20 minutes on each area that needs treatment, both from a deep treatment perspective and also skin-related issues, and you spend $150. Total.
Yeah,
Total.
Exactly. That's
and there's not really any training besides reading the manual, turning it on, and kind of rubbing it on your pet.
Exactly.
That's how easy it is.
Exactly.
I don't need to go to years of vet school.
You might. Let's not, we don't overestimate him.
Yeah, it's very simple. I mean, you push a power button and you say start, and it begins flashing lights, and it turns off in 15 minutes.
Wow.
And if you have a pet with a very thick coat, a husky or something, you kind of want to push the coat aside. It's not a matter of really rubbing it over a big area. It's a matter of knowing that, okay, if it's the hip, I got to put it here and point it this direction, and you just sit there. And the pet feels warm and comfortable. Normally they love it. I mean, my little dog, who doesn't have any issues, we use her for a guinea pig all the time. She just like, well, this is cool. Right. So there's not much more to it. The only thing you have to be exceedingly careful about, as with any laser or LED light, you don't look at it and say, wow, that's pretty bright. Especially with our deep treatment head for the arthritis and the deep muscle and spine stuff, because the diodes that do the most good are infrared. They're invisible to the human eye. So when you look at it, you say, wow, only like 6 of those diodes are flashing. Well, we put 6 green diodes in so it's working. Right. Because the light will damage the eye. Yeah. But other than that, there's really nothing to it.
That's really cool.
Well, you're a Star Wars techie guy.
It's one of those sci-fi things that you see in the TV shows and movies, and you're like, nah, we'll never see anything. And then all of a sudden there's something on your desk right there like, hey, let's do this. Or like Rob's bringing, Derek, I got this cool new techie thing that you might like for your pets. And that's one of those things I enjoy the pet world for that tech side of things, because people are bringing these new inventions, new technology, and adapting it for pets. You were a human side thing, and then it said, you know what? I have this dog that it has issues that at its end of life kind of thing, but I can make it a little better for it, and that's where that came from, and I think that's cool.
Well, I think the other thing too is it's not just end of life. I mean, if you're out there, you've got the agility dogs. How many times have we seen those dock dogs up and down 10 times flying?
Just our athletes in general for humans.
Exactly.
The treatments we go through, like to play sports and stuff like that, but the same thing when you run a dog for miles and miles, or through these agility, they're gonna have some kind of muscle pain. They're gonna have some kind of, but we don't know that. We don't know like what they're going through, and this is just a way to feel comfortable that, hey, we're doing a little bit something to soothe their pain or soothe their issues that they're having at that point.
Yeah. Now, did we catch the dog's name? I missed your dog's name.
Remy.
How many dogs have you had, or cats, or guinea pigs, or anything?
My wife and her family and my family have had dogs forever.
Since the get-go.
Since the beginning, And my brother and I were into fish for a long time, and we used to build 80 and 100-gallon aquariums. In fact, before it was very inappropriate. we used to go down to like Corona del Mar to the tide pools, and we would catch little perch in a container, and we would bring them back, and we would put them in these aquariums, and we would watch them and hang with them for a while. And our goal was we're gonna have a good time with them. We're gonna make them grow. Then we're gonna take them back.
Right.
And so there's always been something going on.
Right.
When I was a little kid, all it was about was frogs and lizards.
Sure.
So, but we had a husky, my wife and I and the kids, for husky mix actually for 18 and a half years. She was just a delight. About a 40-pound husky with floppy ears.
Wow.
Shed like a machine.
Yep. I'm almost every day having to use a Furminator on.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, there weren't Furminators in those days. There were wives that bitched and moaned about cleaning up all the hair.
Send the emails to Craig.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was kind of an interesting thing when we finally had to put her down. My wife made a decree. No mas. No more dogs.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to last a few months and we'll be back to normal. Well, this lasted almost 2 years.
Huh?
And so I'm thinking, I've got to get serious about this. And in the mornings, my morning walk is down at Tohini State Beach, along the beach in the parking lot where it's nice and quiet. And
Yeah, I was going to say rough life, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, fortunately, I live a mile from the beach. So
nice.
It's very
beautiful
nice.
there.
And I ran into a couple who had 2 border terriers. And I don't know why, but they just kind of caught my eye. I'd never seen one before. I'd never even heard of one before. And in the course of talking with them, I said, oh, yeah, these are great little dogs. One was a little neurotic, but the other was very cool. And the conversation came to, what's really nice is they don't shed. Of course, my ears automatically perked up.
There
and
we
I
go.
thought, well, let me see here. So I decided I would do a little internet research, and I confirmed that they're the right size, kind of the 15 to 21, 22-pound dogs. Don't shed much. Occasionally there'll be a little shedding, but not very much. And so I introduced this concept to my wife, and she says, "Boy, those are cute little dogs." No. And the conversation just stopped, And I thought, well, I'll let it go a little while longer. And in the interim, I had introduced my daughter. I said, hey, go to this website, check out these little border terriers. They're very cute little dogs. So she did, and she turned her fiance's mom onto them, who were looking for a dog. And they bought a border terrier from this gal down in San Diego and just loved it to death. And so a few more months went by, and I got an email from my daughter, and it was a picture of Remy. Actually, I'll tell you the story about Remy and patty cakes in a minute, but it was Remy. And so Missy said, "Dad, this is the last one. It's the brother of the other one, and they were going to breed her, but they decided not to. She's 21 months old, and she's available." So I take the picture home, and I'm showing Julie on my little notebook computer, and she goes, "Oh, that is the most adorable little thing." No. Well, and now I'm beginning to worry a little, and so I'm thinking, I called Missy the next morning. I said, "You got to get on your mom. You got to start getting in her face about this, because I'm getting nowhere fast."
Right.
And so between Missy getting in her face and me kind of pouting around the house
Right.
for a couple of weeks, she finally one night said, "You know what? I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I'll agree to go look at her." And
Nice.
I'm just going,
There you go.
There you
That's
go.
all it takes.
So we met the gal at a dog show, and we took her for about an hour and a half walk around the show. And of course, that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And then there were the rules. The rules are, this is your dog. You have to take it to work with you, because I don't want it just hanging around the house all the time when we're not here. You have to do all the vet stuff. I mean, this is all you. And by the way, there'll be no dog on the furniture.
Yeah, that lasts for about a week, right?
No. It lasted for exactly 1 day. So I walk in the house from the garage, and who is sitting on the couch right next to my wife, Julie?
There you go.
So I smiled and said, "So, honey, is this just this rule out the window, or all the rules are out the window?" Well, it was just that rule.
It was just that.
But, literally, she goes to work with me every day.
That's
Fortunately,
great.
I have an office where, I kind of control what happens, and
Yeah.
people come and go, and everybody in town knows her.
That's awesome.
And the UPS lady literally brings her a treat if she's even near.
Wow.
So it's been great. She's just a delight, and
That's cool.
and that got me really back going on this concept of, look, there's got to be a way to bring this technology, which was developed in the 60s. I mean, they've been doing wound healing with the 600 nanometer diodes since the 60s. So it's not new. It just needed to be packaged and built so that it can be sent to folks that need it and can afford to use it.
Right. Well, it makes a ton of sense. A ton of sense. And, as we see so many different things, especially over the last couple of years, coming, as you pointed out, from the human world over into the pet world. And now we're even seeing some of the pet world things working their way back into the human world because of those innovations that were done to take it to the pet world. They've made it smaller. They've made it more effective, more focused. And this sounds like one of those examples as well.
It's funny, as we were talking to folks at the show, once we were explaining to them what it does, I would say about 7 out of 10 said, "So, can I use this on me?"
It's a natural question.
And
though.
I said, look, we have not done what they call the 510K predicate approval from the FDA to say that this device can be used on you.
Right.
I can tell you that my wife uses it on her thumb 3 or 4 times a week. My partner uses it on his shoulder under his shirt while he's watching TV. It's exactly the same technology.
Right.
And so I have a feeling that several of the people that left the show with units, we're going to use them in 2 different areas.
Right, exactly.
One for the dog
5
and
minutes
one
for
for
you,
me.
5 minutes for me. 5 minutes.
Zoe, you're going to have to wait. I'm not done yet. So,
My turn right now.
Yeah, then there's going to be the pecking order in
Yeah,
the house.
exactly.
Who gets the treatment first? Who gets the treatment
that's
second?
right. That's right. No, it's really remarkable. I know we got the pet bowl, and
Yeah, I think,
being a fish
it's
guy.
One of those things. Let's get to the dog bowl question. So, guest always gets to pick a question from the dog bowl. These are submitted from our audience. If you guys want to submit a question to us, you can reach out to us on social media using the hashtag #WeLovePets at Pet World Insider or myself at Producer Derek. So, go ahead, Craig. Go ahead and pull one of those questions, and let's see what we got answered.
Favorite animal-related movie?
Favorite animal-related movie? I'm going to let you go first.
Wow.
I think mine is Homeward Bound. That's an old
Okay.
classic. It's the dogs and cat getting lost, and they're talking animals, and yeah, it's just a great story. I mean, it might be a cheesy.
That's
movie,
the
but-
animated movie.
No, it's the real life.
Yeah.
It's the real life. There's the 2 dogs and the cat.
Wasn't it like Michael J. Fox was one of the voices?
I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's
I'm
a
not
golden
100%.
retriever.
And like a boxer.
Yeah,
mix, kinda,
exactly. And then a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the breed of
I don't know
cat.
either. We'll leave that to you, the audience.
But I think that one is like my go-to. I think cheesy animal movie.
Okay.
Out there. Yeah.
We're
Wow.
going to throw it to you.
I can't remember the name of this movie, but it was kind of like one of the light romantic comedies from several years ago where the couple were dating and I don't remember, the gal had a dog and the guy wanted kind of nothing to do with her because of the animal thing, and then ended up getting to a point where it was all about the animal and she was about ready to hit the road because he was paying more. I cannot think of the name of the movie, but it brought tears to my eyes laughing at it because it's kind of like the story with Remy and my wife.
You can relate
to it,
I can
yeah.
relate to it.
I don't know. I know there's.
I know. Yeah, I know the plot line. I don't know the name of it.
I can't think of it.
Well, I'm gonna go now. Remember, everybody, I've got young kids, so I watch. Oh gosh, pray for me, people. But I'm gonna go with 2. One is Hotel for Dogs. I love that because I love that concept, and I gotta tell you, if I had all the money and didn't know what to do with, I love the no-kill aspect and these kids taking an abandoned hotel and building it out for all of these animals that they were able to save. And then the second one is just one of those guilty pleasures, cats versus dogs. That one is just it's just so funny, and I want to believe there's a secret underground of cats and a dog secret agent society. It would make my life perfect.
All right. We got,
All right, there we go.
Awesome. What we like to do at this point now is kind of like if you had one thing you want the pet world to take away from you here today, what would that be? What would that one piece of knowledge, one little bit of information that might just change 1 or 2 dogs or cats' lives out there?
Pets, just like people, have all sorts of short-term and long-term ailments. I mean, you get, eczema, one of the things that was a strange byproduct of the hair laser thing we were doing is, guess what? No more psoriasis, no more dandruff, no more skin-related itching. So there's the ability to use one of the two different heads on this product for things that come up and go away. And on the other side of the coin, we've got the deep treatment head. And if an animal's got arthritis, it has arthritis. It's never going to go away. Yeah. So, your options become limited. One, the glucosamine and the herb programs which are good.
Yep.
But then beyond that, you go to the vet for the deep therapy treatment, or you use a device like ours. My goal is let's not put them on the pet version of Enbrel and whatnot for the rheumatoid arthritis that people have. If we can keep the pets more to holistic, natural things that don't hurt them and only benefit them, way better way to go. And that's more. That's the key to this. I mean, it's not. There's no magic to it. There isn't. It isn't something, as I think I mentioned earlier, that you're going to start and use for 15 minutes for a couple of days, and the pet's going to be leaping around going, "This is the greatest thing since sliced bread." Right. It's a overtime program that will continually to make them feel better, and you begin to notice, gosh, little Remy's hopping around more than she used to. And like you say, the dogs that are in shows and doing these acrobatic things, you're going to do preventative medicine. Yeah. With them. In fact, I've got a guy that I know who teaches high school, and he coaches the football team. And we were chit-chatting one day, and he goes, "Bring one of those over." He says, "We've got a machine that we use that's light therapy for all these athletes that are always getting, tweaking this, tweaking that, pulling a muscle, and even like a pulled muscle. I mean, when you use the light therapy, it brings lots more blood flow, lots more microcirculation. It relieves inflammation, it relieves pain, and it promotes the cells to heal about 150 to 200% faster than they would on their own through the light and its interaction with an enzyme in our body called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. It's one of those things that does a myriad of things in your body, but the light therapy kind of says, "Oh wow, let's get this fired up." So it's got the capability to help a broad spectrum of short and long-term issues with no downside whatsoever, and hopefully the upside of not too many drugs on a long-term basis, and making the pet more comfortable and healing faster if it's an injury that can be healed.
Nice.
Great. At this point, what's the website that people can learn more information from you?
It is LumaSoothe, LumaSoothe. .com.
Awesome. If you guys want to check that out, you guys check out that website. And any social media
we're on Facebook, basically the same LumaSoothe name. You're not looking at the world's expert in this, but we are indeed up and running. We have some of the photos from the show up and going.
Good.
And we're moving along. It's been interesting. The response has been great. People in general, once they look at it and go, "What on earth is this?" and you start to give them a little explanation, they seem to be pretty proactive about getting involved, and it's amazing how many pets have issues.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing I would finish on as well, is that this is something not just for dogs, not just for cats, but there are many pets that will benefit from this. And that's unique in our industry. Usually it's maybe one or two, but this is truly, and we talk about this all the time, bipedal. So check it out. Go visit the website. Craig, thanks for everything you guys are doing. We again really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having us. It's the ability to spread the word, I think, is the key. And for us just starting out, what you guys are doing and your reach will be fantastic for us. So hopefully we can get a lot more people educated on the process and get them going.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what we love doing. So guys, if you guys want to join the conversation, go ahead. Use the hashtag #WeLovePets. Submit questions for our dog bowl for our upcoming guests. Visit us at Pet World Insider on all the social media platforms, or you can reach out to me at Producer Derek. Guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of We Love Pets.